Hi guys, we are playing today Café Noir, a business detective game. And it is not released yet on Steam, but it's coming out this month or next month. At least it's announced for that. And it seems to be a nice management game. At the beginning of the 20th century, for unexplained reason, world's coffee consumption increased 20 times. The phenomenon called cafe mania reached its peak in the 1940s.
The world of 2021 is ruled by coffee, and Neo-London goes crazy for it. They say that in this job only two cases matter. The one that breaks you, and the one that makes you a real cop. I'm Arthur Oliver, and I'm a private investigator, but I used to be a cop here in Neo-London. I quit 10 years ago. I failed. I hoped I'd never come back here. I read about Richard Kersey's disappearance in the papers on a train journey. Coffee tycoon vanishes, the front page headline of the Neo-London Espressos. For many, Kersey was a wealthy celebrity buffoon, pure envy. They lost contracts and profits to him. They even lost their reputations as he dragged competitors through the courts. And me, I lost a lot more to him. Catherine, my beloved, and his wife. 10 years ago, Richard was involved in a spot of bother. He had a debt. Unfortunately for him, it was Kath who received the demands for payment. Kersey happened to be abroad at the time, totally out of reach. She got scared and tried sorting it out herself, in cash. She asked me for help. I couldn't do it in my official capacity, but I took my gun and set up a sting. It ended tragically. A few days ago, Henry called, Richard's older brother. He sounded down, just like me. I know all about it, Arthur. You quit the force. You're still tormented by Kath's murder. Listen, Richard's daughter doesn't have to know anything about you two, nor Richard, but I'm begging you, help me find him. I'll give you a flat to live in, some cash and cover storage. You're a salesman. Just come, please. So I'm in Neo-London again. The business with Catherine broke me. So maybe the case with Richard will be the one to make me a real cop. Richard's disappearance was big news. There was speculation about mafia involvement, either Italian or Yakuza. I think there might be something in that. Little Clarabelle, Richard and Kath's daughter. The last time I saw her was at her mother's funeral. I wanted to comfort her. Now it looks like it's her who wants to comfort me. She's so like her mother, especially her eyes. Can't forget watching the life draining out of Catherine's eyes. On the way to the hotel, Clarabelle told me her father might have been kidnapped by an angry competitor. It's a possibility. Kersey did all sorts of weird deals with even weirder people. Maybe one of them had enough of Richard's caprices. Over the phone, Clarabelle confirmed what Henry had promised. There was a flat and a position as a salesperson in their family business. That was to make investigating easier. Fair enough. Let it be. If that's what the investigation demands, I'll become the best damn salesperson in Neo-London. I'll help Clarabelle with her business. I'll find Richard. I'll find your killer, Kath. I won't let you down twice. Promise.
Yeah, that was the intro. The oldest Neo-Londoners who grew up in the 40s recalled the old times with nostalgia and longing. The text, by the way, is going too fast here that I cannot read everything. I'm just trying to tell you half of what's showing up. Over the years after the period of coffee mania, due to the rise of production and industry of fertilizer made from coffee drugs and the text is gone. To this day, the coffee market matters the most. I'm just trying to read down half of it. The developers should really slow the text down. The scientists researching the causes of coffee mania claim that the art and excessive love for coffee taste is in the trade acquired by the and gone. In London itself, there are hundreds of coffee roasting plants, coffee providers, and companies that specified. The love for coffee in New London is so strong that people started using it as a spice in their meals and the key ingredients in whatever. Some still have access to the coffeeum, a drug based on coffee. It's available only in the richest who know where to find it. Since the start of Coffee Mania, London underwent such great economic change and technological process that people started calling it Neo London. The modern experienced great technological advance, but still loves the 20s aesthetic. According to legends, shamans in South America used the strain of coffee with specific features to contact their ancestors. In the time of great geographical discoveries, some mentions about miraculous black coffee emerged. Unfortunately, the seekers have never, and the rest is gone. Neo London is not free from shady schemes and organizations laying in the weight of weaknesses of the coffee providers. With the beginnings of the 20th century, the world's coffee consumption has radically risen in a short time. Okay, and now they go on with the same text kind of over and over, so I'm pressing space to continue.
Dear Arthur, thank you again for agreeing to work on this case in such unusual circumstances. As I mentioned during our last meeting, Uncle Henry and I suspect that one of my father's business partners must be involved in his disappearance, or at least know something about it. We believe it would be best to work undercover and meet them offering a delivery contract. It's also better that a private investigation will remain as a secret. Check out the instructions I've left you and look around in your office. After that, meet me at my cafe. See you soon. Clarabelle Kersey.
That's the basic tutorial. Welcome to your office. This place is the command center of your company and the investigation you are conducting. From the office view, you can jump to all game sections and you have a preview of the menu results such as cash, costs, and revenues. Here you will find the main financial result this week. When you hover over a given result, you see its explanation. This information gives you an overview of your business situation. Yeah. Try to make the revenues higher than the cost. This will ensure a stable profit for your company. If you go bankrupt, it's game over. Yeah, of course it is. In this menu, you have access to the main sections of the company. The last report and tutorials, you can always minimize this menu. So you see production, marketing, investigation, handbook, sales, management, finances, quests, story pages. And yeah, that's hiring. You can also go to the main sections of the company by clicking on the element of the office if it's more convenient for you. You can check the list of required tasks on this board during the gameplay. New tasks may appear on this board. Click to view the list. Voila. Meet with Clarabelle Kersey and sign a contract. Find connection between clues. 1. Reach weekly revenue over and reach total revenue over 500,000. Oh god. Okay, your first task to meet Clarabelle and sign a business contract. Click here to open sales section. In this section, you will find information about available customers interested in your company's coffee. There are also suspects in your investigation. In each chapter of the story, you will find another customer here. Your goal is to meet with every customer and sign a coffee supply contract. Thanks to this, you will not only get funds to support your business, but you will also get clues in your investigation. Each customer reports a demand for a specific brand of coffee with a certain level of quality. To be able to attend a meeting, you must start producing coffee that the customer wants to buy. Logical. During the meeting, you will conduct a sales conversation and contract negotiations. It is worth getting to know the customer beforehand. A handful of valuable information can be found by clicking this field. Let's click the field. Clarabelle Kersey. She is a student and works in the family cafe. She wanted to earn some money of her own and help produce a business. Conduct a business, sorry. Clarabelle is modest, sensitive, and a warm-hearted dreamer. Sometimes she has her head in the clouds, which was the reason she was laughed at by her peers. Her excessive trust and gullibility, I don't know that word, sorry, are some of her biggest flaws. Her inexhaustible faith in the people is a little puzzling. Oh, by the way, if anyone can explain to me that word gullibility, it would be nice. If just put it in my comments, I would be very happy to know. Probably I have forget about it till I have my dictionary back up. Her inexhaustible faith in people is a little puzzling since she went through the tragic death of her mother, Catherine Kersey. After her father, Richard Kersey, went missing, she's trying to do everything to find him. A general description will allow you to better prepare for negotiations. Each customer conducts a conversation in a different way. Pay attention to the characteristics. Try to capture information that may be useful during the conversation. This is even in real life very important to do this. If you have someone that you want to talk to and where you want to reach any goal and the person needs to agree or something, then you should always watch them closely. The meeting will only be possible if you have an appointment with the customer. Assign an employee to this task in the management section. Yeah, relation status, okay. Now, when the appointment is arranged, you can go for it by clicking the button. Focus and don't do it lightly. If you and the meeting before signing a contract are your interlocutor asks you out, the next meeting will be possible in a week. Okay. Since you have classic standard coffee available in production and this customer is interested in your offer, you can go to the meeting. Click the button below. Let's go. Tutorial business meeting. Much of the in-game conversations are business meetings where you offer your company's product and negotiate the price of deliveries. An interview with Clarabelle Kersey will help you better understand your tasks and summarize the collected information. Choose from available phrases to start a conversation. Introduce yourself and compliment her cafe's decor, or ask for coffee and a price of cake and get down to business. Let's do this.
Great to see you again, Clarabelle. Could you fix me an espresso? And at the same time, I'd like to try a piece of your famous cake. Then we can get down to work.
Hi, Arthur. I like your enthusiasm. 1 sugar, right?
Just a smile will do. Haven't seen it in a long time.
I'll stick to using sugar, thanks. You'll get a smile when you make progress on the case.
I'll hold you to that. Okay, let's get down to it.
Sure, let's start.
I want to ask about your childhood. I know there are painful memories, but it's important for the case.
All right. I've had time to get some distance on it. How can I help?
Tell me, how you coped after your mother's death.
Well, not too well. Dad hated talking about it. He worked a lot, went away a lot. And me? I remember lying there, crying. Mr. Pensy was with me. He took my temperature, brought me cups of tea. I was alone.
Any friends? School psychologist?
I had this one friend, Amy. She came to cheer me up a couple of times, but I think I wore her out. I was incredibly shy as a child. The school psychologist sent me to a psychiatrist for medication. I was supposed to go there with an adult, but it never happened.
Yeah, I got to tell you guys that the story in this game branches. So if you decide to take a different answer or attempt, then the game will also change a bit.
Why? Something changed. Something got better?
Yeah, you could say it was thanks to Mr. Van Haven.
Hold on, I'll write this down. Who was it?
Joseph Van Haven, Dad's friend from college. He and his wife Amanda offered to take care of me, together with his housekeeper. I was to sleep at my home, spend the day with them, mainly with Mrs. Fink, the housekeeper. Dad immediately agreed.
And you? Did you have any say in it?
I was a bit scared at first, but they were really nice. They were like my family. They still are.
Thanks, Clarabelle. That's a lot of help. Can you give me a contact number for Van Haven and Fink? I'd like to ask them a few questions.
Sure, here you go.
Great. Who do you think I should meet first?
Mr. Van Haven. Visit him posing as a sales rep. Sell him some coffee. He's a really nice guy and a good candidate for checking your abilities.
Investigative abilities?
Business and negotiating. Remember that you operate undercover and you must be credible. Only then will investigative skills come in handy.
What should I know about Richard's disappearance?
Neither I nor Uncle Henry have a clue what happened to my dad. Have you looked at the materials from the last meeting? Everything I know is in there.
I'm not sure I'm a negotiator. How can I learn? Can it be learned?
Of course. Start with the handbook I gave you. The techniques in there are enough to get you your first clients. They won't be too demanding. After that, well, you know, practice makes perfect.
Did you have to say that?
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
You remember what we agreed yesterday. What do I need to know?
I reckon there's a business connection involved in my dad's disappearance. To find out who, you're going to have to get the London business community to trust you.
Pretending to be a sales rep, right?
Well, you're really going to become one. You're going to set up meetings, set up deals, and sign contracts. You'll be managing a team, planning budgets. It's the only way to be credible and get closer to the suspects. So, we need to practice sales meetings.
Can't I interrogate them the usual way? You know, put a gun to the temples like in the old days? I don't need to practice that, you know.
Focus, Arthur.
Okay, I was only joking. So I'm a sales rep, right?
Sales manager. And no, that doesn't mean you can use a gun.
Explain the basics about running a business to me. Better still, as a manager, shouldn't I have a competent deputy? Then I can concentrate on, you know, being a boss, and the deputy makes sure we don't go under.
Last time you said you always worked solo.
Me? Are you thinking of someone else? There are lots of detectives called Oliver.
Take it easy, Arthur. No deputies. We don't have the cash for it. Start by visiting all the departments. You'll learn how to establish the scale of production, audit advertising activity, and plan expenditure, as well as team building and managing people.
Huh. So, I might find a deputy?
Of course. I'm sure you'll pick it all up faster than you imagine. A lot of our processes are automated, so you're not likely to cause any catastrophes.
You're sure good at encouragement. Okay, I'll give it a go. How do I set up a meeting with a client?
You can't just charge straight at it. First, you have to have a credible business proposition. To prepare that, you need to know what the client needs.
They always want the same. Something cheap and high quality.
More or less, but it's a little more subtle than that. Give this list of Dad's contacts to the people in the management department. They'll set up the first meetings for you and get the clients interested so you can practice your sales pitch.
So, then I go and see them and close the deal. Is that all?
That's about the half of it. Before meeting them, you have to find out who you're dealing with, so you know how to approach them. Preparation is vital to good negotiating. By assigning specific tasks to employees, you can get interesting information about clients that will be helpful during the meeting.
I see. Is there anything in this work that isn't vital?
Sure, a gun license for start.
So, where do we get the coffee from?
The production department sees to that. Using the console in your office, you decide how much of a given brand to produce in a given week. You'll be starting with a single type, classic standard.
Okay, then what?
Later you can start working on other brands because different clients have different needs. It's also worth making production more efficient. It's costly and can hold up production, but it pays off in the long term. You have to keep an eye on production costs and warehouse levels.
Warehouse. Okay, I think I've got all that. How do I run my team?
It's like this. In the management board, you assign tasks to groups and how many hours per week they have to complete them. Neglecting tasks, i.e. managing production or account management, can lead to production failure or suspension of deliveries. Make sure employees are busy.
Okay, what else?
Lead acquisition and due diligence will allow you to arrange meetings and get valuable information about your clients that will be useful during a business meeting.
Okay, let's say I manage to sell something. What then?
You can also assign project management tasks. Each production upgrade or marketing campaign is treated as a project that needs to be taken care of. Staff training helps develop their competences.
That's just what I wanted to ask about. Where do I get new employees from?
The relevant forms are in the HR department. We always have a few candidates for employment waiting in the wings.
I don't really know the London coffee market. In fact, I don't really know anything about any market. How do I work out what coffee to produce and who to sell it to? Where do I find information about current and potential clients?
In the sales section, look into the computer. You'll find contacts to clients, what brand of coffee they buy, and whether there is an appointment arranged.
Let's say I'm feeling well prepared. What then?
Then it's time for a business meeting. Just dress up right and get to the right place on time.
One more thing. Let's say I sign a contract on poor terms. Then I become a better negotiator, and I don't like the contract anymore. Can I break it?
During the meeting, you can always opt out of signing the contract, or simply stop the conversation and leave. If after signing you do not assign employees to service the contract, the client will terminate the cooperation after some time.
So guys, you could just ask her anything about the business, and I'm not going on here because I don't want to bore you. But if you like to play the game yourself, they are really very detailed here in the explanations how everything works. I'm going now for I know everything now.
I know everything now.
Yes, we have to practice contract negotiating. As it happens, I need a fresh delivery. Let's roleplay the scene where you offer me a contract. Ready?
Couldn't be readier. Let's start. What do I need to bear in mind during a meeting with a client?
Their personality, needs, and preferences, which you looked into prior to the meeting.
Cool. You mentioned client needs.
Yes, every client states their needs for specific brands of coffee. Manage the ongoing production so that you can meet all your clients' needs.
I don't have a clue about drawing up contracts. What should a contract contain, and what do I need to remember?
Oh, that's simple. After the initial conversation, a standard formula contract comes up. Your job is to establish the unit price for the coffee. I'll give you a standard form to look at.
Great. You read my mind like a natural negotiator.
Please concentrate, Arthur. One more thing. Some clients always insist on delivery and insurance, others don't. Those options can always be negotiated and can earn extra income.
Extra income sounds good. I'll bear it in mind. I think I'm ready. Let's try a negotiation and point out anything I get wrong. And when I recover from that, you can give me some more tips.
Okay, let's begin negotiating.
Yeah. During each sale conversation, before giving a specific offer, you have time to get to know the customer. Break the ice and show that it is worth doing business with you. Before the coffee is presented, the choice of the phrases affects the overall attitude of your intellectual lecture. A satisfied customer is more likely to accept a higher price. Any blunder or unfortunate comment discourages during business with you. Okay. So what do we take? Try to use this compliment to please Clarabelle. Notice how the customer's attitude will change.
Good morning. I've come to talk about supplying her coffee to you, but if I'm going to talk about coffee with such a lovely lady, it will have to be over a coffee.
Oh dear, Arthur. Complimenting my appearance or flirting with me really isn't a good idea in a business context. I know you meant to be nice, but someone else might take it differently. Very differently.
Good morning. Is that coffee cake? That smells good enough to stop traffic.
Really? Thanks for saying so. We just finished baking it. Here it is.
Wow, it looks better than it smells. Did you make this, Miss Clarabelle Kersey, I presume? I've come to talk to you about coffee supplies.
Not bad, Arthur. A well-judged compliment can work wonders. But some clients don't like them. Now do you see why doing your research on the customer is so important?
Yes, I knew you liked baking cakes, so I could mention it, but it's only a small thing from your private life.
Precisely. Everything can be useful during negotiations.
Good morning. As we agreed, I've prepared a contract to supply classic standard coffee. Would you like to go over the details?
That's not too bad, but clients don't always want to get right down to business. It's worth creating a friendly atmosphere and demonstrating goodwill. You want to try?
Friendly and goodwill. That's me. Okay. I got this. Good morning. I've come about your coffee supplies, namely the classic standard. We can offer competitive terms and, what was next?
No, if you start like that, there's no way you'll succeed. You have to be prepared for negotiating and know what to start the conversation with. Improvising is okay too, but it has to be snappy.
I can do snappy.
Great, show me.
Can we move on to establishing the terms of the agreement? What does a contract like this look like?
Here's a standard contract. Here, look.
In the contract form, you specify the unit price of the coffee that the customer is interested in. This will be the starting point for negotiations. Sorry. If you set a price that is too low, the client will sign the contract immediately without trying to negotiate it. And for you, it means an unprofitable business. If the price is set too high, the client will immediately notice it. After 3 tries, he or she will end the meeting. Pay attention to how cost and the generated profit change at different price settings. Set a price above the value of cheap deal and try to make an offer. If you set the price too high, the customer will reject it. Okay.
Good, that looks acceptable. Be prepared that the client will want to renegotiate the terms here. Assume that they're going to ask for a price lower by this percentage. How are you going to persuade me your offer is already attractive enough?
After the initial offer price negotiation begin, the client responds with a counter offer asking for the specific price reduction. The current discount mentioned during the negotiation is always displayed here. Okay, try to choose phrases and negotiation techniques so that the price reduction is as low as possible and therefore the price per unit as high as possible.
Let's look at the price in relation to quality. Everything about our coffee's top drawer: taste, aroma, and certification. Coffee like that at a price like this is a real bargain.
Let's assume I will agree for such discount. Every supplier claims his or her coffee is the best. How are you going to support your claims so they don't come across like empty boasts?
Some facts and figures to prove that this discount is a sensible bargain.
There you go, Arthur. That's how you support your credibility and generate client trust. But it would be better if you actually knew some data. For a first go at negotiating, that went pretty well. Let's say I'll sign the contract, but I have one more proposal. The first month's batch for lower price. Agreed?
Okay, it's a reasonably big order, so I guess we can do that.
The client is sure to be happy, but does it still pay for you? Conceding too easily to surprise conditions can cost you a lot.
Okay, you've got me there. I'll remember that.
They make you a real salesman here in this game.
I think that covers everything. Now it's time to put it into practice, both as a business person and a negotiator. Make sure you swat up on the materials and look at this week's tasks.
So if this is not too dry for you, this might be a fun game for people that like micromanagement.
Thank you. I'm sure it will all prove helpful in this investigation and in finding your father. See you soon, Clarabelle.
Thanks, Arthur. It means a lot to me. Now it's up to you, and I think you're the last hope I've got.
When the customer agrees to the arrangement, he/she signs the contract. You can still review the terms and finally decide if you want to sign it. Sign the contract to accept the terms. Here we go. So this was a big part of the tutorial. There's still a little bit more about it. I'm going to end the video for now, because I think if you are really interested into the game, it's pretty much a text based, so I don't know if you like that. I'm usually not playing such games, but I thought that game is quite nice made, and it's kind of tycoon simulation game with a detective story. Just that there are not so many moving pictures here. You have those uh, static pictures and a lot of text to read. So if it doesn't exhaust you, the game might be real fun for you. I wish you a good day and see you next time. Bye bye.